Major League Baseball appears to be face-to-face with its worst nightmare of the season. Marlins suffered a rash of coronavirus infections while visiting the Phillies over the weekend. Canceled the Marlins-Orioles game last night. I'm guessing tonight is going to be postponed as well. Yankees-Phillies was postponed. The fear is this is just the beginning. We've seen how the disease can spread, how quickly it can spread, and it's hard to pin down how many people have been exposed to this. You also had the White Sox-Indians that was postponed. And the safety of all the players should come first. Hopefully Major League Baseball realizes that. But this is also frustrating for the sports fan in all of us because we're getting used to baseball being back. They only started last week. We haven't even gotten through a week of baseball yet. And it's great to have teams back. But if there was a notion that this was going to be easy, the Marlins certainly ended that. Keeping sports going is serious business, big business here. Teams, players, leagues are going to have to step up and be held accountable with frequent testing, and there's nowhere to hide. And hopefully the Marlins are just a warning and not the beginning of the end of the season that we were just starting to enjoy. And I know there was a lot of hand-wringing yesterday, and the sky is falling because what happened with the Marlins. This might be the worst part of it for Major League Baseball. If this is the big hiccup here, baseball's okay. Now, they didn't handle it well because the Marlins themselves should not have been voting on whether they were going to play a game on Sunday. I don't know if the Marlins are still in Philadelphia. Last I heard, they're still in Philadelphia. They're supposed to play the Orioles tonight in Miami, and then they go to Baltimore for 2 more games. I was told by a baseball source yesterday, baseball will not force teams to forfeit games. The commissioner knows that would be an embarrassment if you had to forfeit a game. Keep in mind, these teams with no minor league baseball, they have a roster of about 60 players that are available. Now, I don't know if they're readily available here, but if you have 30 on the Major League roster and another 30 scattered around the country, you can bring those players in. It's just a question of when they get there. Also, the players who test positive, the quarantine aspect of this. It's going to be a fluid situation here, but Major League Baseball knows the amount of money that's at stake. Hundreds of millions of dollars are at stake here for the postseason. The postseason, that's the key. They want to get through the regular season. They want to make sure they have the postseason. Rob Manfred, the commissioner of Major League Baseball, sat down with Tom Verducci, and he said, let's not overreact to what happened.
I don't put this in the nightmare category. I mean, obviously, we don't want any player to get exposed. It's not a positive thing, but I don't see it as a nightmare. We built the protocols to allow us to continue to play. That's why we have the expanded rosters. That's why we have the pool of additional players. We think we can keep people safe and continue to play.
All right. He also said that they made the right decision to not have a bubble.
The decision that we made with respect to the bubble was the right one. We're different than other sports. We would have had to have multiple locations probably just in order to have enough facilities to make it work. The numbers of people involved and the numbers of people to support the number of players was much, much larger in our sport. The duration would have been much longer, and the longer you go, the more people you have, the less likely it is that you can make the bubble work.
Okay, they can still have this season. I didn't say, boy, we should just shut it down here. There are those in the media who said there's not going to be a World Series. You know, Buster Olney, who's been covering this sport for a few decades now, a month ago said probably a 5% chance of playing the World Series. 5% they'd start 0% World Series. But he was on with Golick and Wingo, and he said 40% chance of having the World Series. Now, they didn't follow up and say, why all of a sudden do you think you're going from 5% or 0% to 40%? Because we just had, this outbreak with the Marlins. They just postponed at least one game, probably 2 games with them. And you're on a finite amount of time, at least games-wise, and dates that you can fit it all in. And he says that he's 40%, more sure that we're going to have a World Series. Yeah, Paul?
Do you think he has more confidence, and maybe other people might have more confidence now that baseball finishes, because a month ago, if you would have told us that 3 games into the season, a team would have a major coronavirus outbreak and they would not stop the season, they would continue playing baseball and a couple games would be postponed. Like, the way baseball reacted to this yesterday was like, we're plowing through, we're getting to October, and we'll deal with the hiccups. That they're committed. And so there's more confidence now, not less, after yesterday.
Oh, I don't know. Golick and Wingo didn't ask, Buster Olney, why are you more confident here based off what just happened? I think the question, and maybe this is that reminder for other teams, what happened with the Marlins. But, you have a coronavirus outbreak in the visitors' clubhouse in Philadelphia. The Marlins responded by asking their shortstop, Miguel Rojas, he's sort of their unofficial team captain, according to Don Mattingly, their manager. And they said, let's determine if we should play this game on Sunday. So Miguel Rojas is the one who's deciding that they're going to play a game. I would think you would have maybe somebody with Major League Baseball, maybe an official, not a player, who's going to be deciding. Does Derek Jeter know about this? Was Mattingly in on this? So you just can't be careless here. And maybe this is just a good reminder of this is how it can go south in a hurry. Hopefully, baseball is able to continue to plow through, using Paulie's word, and that all they want to do is get to the postseason. It's 60 games. I'll go back to my interview with the commissioner when I was told numerous times by a source, he's locked in on 60 games. They're not changing. It's 60 games. That way the owners know exactly how much they're losing during the regular season, and that he was going from 10 to 16 playoff teams because more teams, more money for the owners. All of that played out here. I don't have any other sources on anybody telling me anything other than what happened yesterday, and that the commissioner is still confident. I guess what else would he be? That they're going to be able to pull this off. But I don't want a shortstop for the Marlins deciding what's going to happen during a pandemic. And I'll go back to what I said yesterday. If this was the Yankees, if this was the Dodgers, this would be a huge story. Because people reacted this way. Typical Marlins. Wouldn't you? We expected the Marlins. Florida, one of the hot spots there. But if it was a marquee team, this would be even bigger. So baseball got off a little bit, from the front lines because of that.